for generations, human beings living together have been faced with constant reminders of the harshness of life and the hazards of the world. But they have continued to search for a softer world. One prophetic voice in the imagery of poetry looked through a window of a new day and wrote the words, "The wolf shall lie down with the sheep, the leopard will lie down with the kid, the calf and the young lion shall grow up together, and a little child shall lead them." Last Friday, we had a visit by Camillo and Adriana. They came to this city 4 or 5 years ago from South America, from Colombo. He was awarded the John Waters Scholarship from here, St. Michael's and Cairn Miller, for him to take on postgraduate studies in psychotherapy before returning to his home country. But along the way, he became distracted somewhat, and he and his wife took up an appointment to work with the Australian Aborigines in Alice Springs. That is now over, and he is now doing a further degree here in Melbourne, a degree in community development, before they return to South America. But right at the centre of their lives, right now, is a bundle of a little child called Thomas, 4 months old. And this Box Hill-born baby will be taken back to Colombia to join with others like him to bring a new era to their stressed country. The other day, we heard Camillo and Adriana speak with excited appreciation of the life-changing experience that opened up for them the day they first came here to us in Melbourne. And their lives since then has been an excited testimony of the title of this book, written by a Japanese author called Kaiko Takahashi. I've mentioned her many times. And the title of this book says, "Your Best for a New Era." And the subheading, "Finding Your Purpose in Life." It is a theme relevant to every 16-year-old, 18, 22-year-old in our midst, to every 40, 50, 60-year-old. It is a transforming focus for 75 through to 95 people, all of us. Your best for a new era. Today, St. Michael's Day, we've done what we've done for these last 2 decades or more. We bless the rocks in the garden as symbols of St. Michael's and his helpers. The scriptures would have called it St. Michael's and all angels. But we're not very enthusiastic about angels. So we have taken the more pragmatic, inclusive term to involve all of us, St. Michael's and his helpers. Everyone, regardless of their age, their status, their station, everyone who does their personal best to prevent violence, destructiveness, and waste. Everyone who by their presence promotes harmony, health, well-being amongst their fellow human beings. So today, we gathered around the rocks of St. Michael's, rocks, the symbols of life's heavy loads. And we scattered flower petals over them, petals, the symbols of a softer world. the softer world that we're all searching for. Because we know we all live in this paradox. Rocks and petals. And sometimes we say it's either one or the other, but then we soon discover it's not a matter of one or the other. In life, the load and the stress exist alongside the softer things of life. And our task for every one of us is to negotiate this paradox. And remember, the paradox to scatter the petals. Our task is to cope with the heavy pains and problems of life, but to remember to scatter the petals, to search for and speak of the softness of life's gifts, the softness of life's possibilities, the softness of life's promises. Every day, we see the images of the heavy burdens that some people carry. Every day, we read of violence and hate. Every day, we become helpless observers of dreadful behavior, deep-seated prejudice, dehumanizing hostility. Every day. Izzeldin Abu Laich, a doctor from Palestine, a specialist doctor, wrote this book about his story. And what of his story? He was on the beach with his family and his extended family. It was as close to heaven as anyone could wish to be, he said. He wrote, "My 2 sons and 6 daughters, large family, and a few cousins, uncles and aunts, all there." He had brought this extended family to this idyllic spot on the Gaza Strip, a beach spot, to try to regain some peace again, several weeks since his wife had died from acute leukemia. But on this day, he sat for a time, watching all these kids regather the sense of fun and play. And then they packed up and went back to their home. They hardly got inside the door to settle down for the night when an Israeli shell landed right in his daughter's bedroom. And in that instant, 4 of those kids were dead and 2 were critically injured. How easy to hate in such situations. But he made a vow, and he wrote the book, which is called I Shall Not Hate. I shall not hate. Something good, he wrote, something good can come out of something bad. 3 daughters, a couple of those kids, all beautiful people. The photographs are all here of them, all here. And the words under the photograph of the grieving father said this: there is no caption. There is no caption that can express a father's grief. In the epilogue of this book, that father wrote, "Hatred and darkness can only be driven out by love and light. Instead of building walls, let us build bridges of peace." He went on to write, hate is a chronic disease, and we need to heal ourselves of it. Find ways to soften the world is our theme today. All of us can do something in that regard. There are two sides to such destructiveness, two expressions of such courage. Do you know, in another instance, another family was similarly decimated. In the first story I tell you, there was the Palestinian family decimated. In another situation, a Jewish family in Tel Aviv, a Jewish group of young people. A bomb right in the middle of a disco killed 24 of them. But they refused to be cowed. They kept their nightclub open. They erected a memorial listing the names of the dead. And there was a single inscription: Lo nafsik lirkod. The Hebrew words which mean, we won't stop dancing. We won't stop dancing. In a couple of weeks' time, I will give the Martin Buber lecture, marking 50 years since that great man's death, expressing our gratitude to a truly significant world figure. His humanity and his wisdom touching many during his lifetime and probably touching many more after his death. Back in 1925, a therapist called Hans Trub wrote a letter to Martin Buber expressing gratitude for being able just to meet him. And he wrote this: "It was only a short meeting, but this light illuminates our entire life. The purity of your vision and the absolute sincerity which you impart to us, that our eyes see that we can only accept with our profoundest gratitude." From time to time, he wrote, a great thing happens. And a great thing happened to us when you spoke to us. And we saw that the infinity of creation is revealed to us when people truly meet each other. In such good meetings, I hope you have them, because in such good meetings we touch a softer world. You will notice today this object on the altar. I thank Margaret Smith for the idea behind it and her care in installing it to portray for us on this St. Michael's Day the important themes of this day. A day for us all to recall through the changing colours, to recall with astonishment that here on this day we see the changing light of quietness, softness, and healing. And we can be part of it. On this day, as you reflected on your response to the offering, Reese played the Traumerei, a beautiful piece of music. The music of the dream. Will it remain a dream? Music of quietness, softness, and healing. After the church service today, I'm inviting you to come with me to walk through Mingri, our quiet place. Hear the healing music of the harp as you quietly, no speaking, remember, pass through Mingri. Remember that Mingri is a place of remembering, a place of recovery, a place of renewal. In a few weeks' time, the director of Mingri, Dr. Kramer, been director for 15 years or more, she will take the story of Mingri to the people of Oregon in America. This week, our deputy head of the Big Tent Project, Robin Gordon, is in Romania, telling the psychologists and doctors in Romania about the Big Tent program we've established in this place for the psychological, emotional health of children 4.5 years of age. And today at the ceremony of the rocks, you heard our assistant director of the SAGE program, Juliana Tchaikovsky, read Judith Wright's poem. The SAGE program is for people 55 through to 105 years of age. And we're now taking that program, she is now taking that program from this centre here in Collins Street, Melbourne, to the suburbs and to the regional centres such as Bendigo and other places. And that poem said today, "Oh, let me run till the wind's agues blow my cinders red again. Let me tilt and drain the last drop of my life before I go. Let the earth's choirs and messengers not sing in vain. The song of an older person holding on, we call it the golden rope." There are our 3 programs and many more, but I mentioned 3 today, all of them speaking of the search in which we are all engaged, the search for a softer world. On Friday last, to a very large group of SAGE people, we spoke of those who see their need to hold on to the gold rope. What does that mean? We've taken the symbol of the gold rope as a symbol of the things which are most important that we need to hold on to as we grow through our older years. And in the lecture on Friday, I spoke of 25 things that are most important things for us to hold on to. Your identity, who you are, your independence, your intelligence, your imagination, and on we went. 25. And you could add more for everyone in their 55, 105 years of age. Today, as with years past, we'll award our 2 annual St. Michael's medallions. One of them goes to the organisation that trains dogs to be kinder, softer than human beings. You heard the story at breakfast, and we'll show you a film of it in a few minutes. From way back, dogs ran wild. Even today, some dogs run wild, but dogs can be trained and softened, and so can human beings. We demand punishment for bad behaviour and forget that softness, if only we knew how, softness will change human hearts. The dog is one of life's great gifts. Today we honour the dog and we encourage the organisation that trains them. And we celebrate the enhancement and the liberation that have come to many lives through the softness and devotion of a dog. The other medal will go to the doctors helping program. Doctors helping doctors. Doctors in this Gallipoli era doing here at home a Simpson and his donkey act. Doctors helping doctors to be in touch with their lives again, to feel alive again. Doctors refocusing their lives, reshaping their lives. Being life's important measure in that zone of everyone's need, reshape a lessons. There is a tendency for us to criticize and to ostracize when people are human. like the rest of us, when people, as it were, miss the mark that they would have liked to have reached. What a difference it makes if we instead do a little of picking people up and encouraging a softer world. It is a coincidence, perhaps, that right at the time when the Pope is in America, reminding the people of America and the Congress of a new era, an era when the world might be softer, we here, with Professor Camilleri's foresight, ran our program just a couple of weeks ago in conjunction with the Australian Catholic University, Pope Francis, and other prophetic voices. Professor Camilleri's lectures are a high validation of what we do in this place, what we today are doing. We are working, indeed, we're working to help people focus on the state of the nation. It is remarkable that Kaiko Takahashi's book here, Giving Your Best for a New Era, takes her single person stand, demonstrates what a single person can do. Listen to what she wrote. Each one of us lives within an enormous world. What on earth can each person do? How much can one person's strength change the world? Well, people, she says, people doing their personal best will change the world. There are times when any one of us can find great inspiration from the artists of the world, one person doing their personal best. So on this St. Michael's Day, I turn to a painting of Matisse, a black Icarus. Remember, Icarus was trying to reach the sun. But in the painting, a black Icarus is dancing against a beautiful blue sky in which there are giant stars. And the heart of the black Icarus is painted an intense red. The black figure, has no hands and no feet, perhaps to convey how we all carry our limitations, but with a heart alive, it shows Icarus in joyful readiness, reaching for the stars. You see, Matisse, when he did this cutout painting, was himself bedridden, unable to use a paintbrush anymore. But with the help of those around him, he was able to build a visionary creation of the black Icarus, even though severely limited by what had happened to him. He showed that we all need a little help from those around us. And perhaps together we can build a softer world. And when all else fails, perhaps even then, two people may walk through our door carrying their baby. And in that caring relationship of warmth and trust, we see a softer world. Again and again we see that in the parents' love and care, set over against the rowdy noise of the adult world, we see perhaps it's possible that a little child will lead them.